camera on my tripod because y'all know I've got the trimmers. I decided that now that I have a little bit of understanding about this technology and stuff, that we would try to do the harvesting up close and live. So the first thing I want to show you is where I have already started pulling leaves from this stalk. Now you see how large that stalk is, and you can see the sap right here, right there. Ooh, big leaf. Right here on my fingers. Now this one right here is a canadensis, and I know this because it's got the arrow-shaped tips. So we're gonna go in. Y'all know I've got them everywhere. I've got. Let me get my camera to move correctly. Yeah, I've got. Here's my cereola. We're just gonna go in now. Okay. Now this is in my wild bed. My wild lettuce utopia. I've got so many wild lettuce plants. Now, this one I just topped. I'm going to put my hand around it so y'all can see how big that stalk is. There's the top that I've topped. I've got about 5 handfuls of leaves. Now, on this, in my past videos, in the wild lettuce folder, you can see, okay, here's the hollow stalk right here. Now this one's a verosa. You can tell right here by the tip. Now there's 7 different kinds of verosa, so just so that you know that. But what I do is I pull the leaves probably from about the bottom third or bottom fourth of the plant. That helps with air circulation. It keeps the stalk healthier and the leaves healthier. Don't know why, it just does. But I top this because what's going to happen is we're going to have more stalks come out. Shoots are going to come out the side. That'll make us more flowering seed heads for us to yield more seeds and more leaves for harvesting later. So over here, this one right here, I haven't cut the top on it yet. I'm gonna let it get a little bit taller, but I'm 5'3" and this one's right at 5 feet. But again, you see this stalk, you see how pretty it is. Now, on the non-prickly varieties of wild lettuce, and there are 150 recognized species of lactuca. They're all different. You have the prickly versus the non-prickly. You have the bitter versus the non-bitter. Now to me, I've become used to the bitter flavor, and none of it's bitter to me anymore. The woodland lettuce, the Floridana, is still a little strong, but you see the yield on these leaves. Just look at these healthy plants. Now we come right over in here. Here's another one. It's about 3 feet tall. I want you to notice the variation on the leaves as the plant grows. It starts out with this serrated edge. As it goes up, it becomes more rounded, you see. And then the ones on the top will be even smaller and rounded. But they generally have 3 sets of leaves. Now this one right here, this one is a canadensis. Again, I can tell this because of no, that one's not a canadensis. This one is a verosa because the leaves are not quite pronounced. This one could go either way for me. This is one of those that I would have to have someone genetically genotype it or something. But remember, all wild lettuces yield the three components of lactocopacrine, lactocarium, and lactucin, which are our pain relievers and our anti-inflammatories. It also has hyoscyamine, which is our antispasmodic, and it is rich in sesquiterpenes that oxygenates the blood, and the polyphenols, which are an immune booster. So now we're going to go over here to the giant one. I'm going to have to cut this one down quick. Now, I had already pulled some leaves down here on the bottom, and up and up. There's a wild cherry tree growing in it, and up and up and up and up and up, and there's the top going into this cherry tree, maple tree. I'd say right now it's at 8 feet. I'm going to come in and pull more leaves in just a little bit. Right here I have one of the prickly lettuces. I'm going to show you the prickles on the back. I'm sorry about my trimmers, y'all. You know, you can see those spines along the midridge. Now, on all of the lactucas, there are fine hairs at different points of the plant, and there are some that are kind of coarse, but they're very different and not nearly as pronounced as like a thistle would be, whether it's a sow thistle or the regular thistle, certainly not the bull thistle. This one is definitely the canadensis. It has the sword handle and the sword tip. So this is when I've got it contrasted against that one. This one's the Verosa. This one is the canadensis. That's about how I have to do it, is to compare them to each other. Oh, here's another pretty good sized one right here that's growing up. It's right at about 5.5 feet tall, but look at these beautiful leaves. Just look at that. Beautiful leaves, rich in all kinds of nutrients. I've got many little cereolas in here. Now we're going to go along. I've got another, that's a canadensis right there. We've got many cereolas in here. The cereolas are very much the easiest to grow. In chemical studies, they have been the ones that have had the greatest amount of the pain-killing medicines in it, the chemicals in it. However, within your growing area, the variation of how the plant is grown, the climate, the water, what it's exposed to, wind, humidity, those things, that's going to change the plant chemical levels, the age of the plant. But the whole plant, from root to tip, is full of the chemicals. Now, we've examined this for a year, almost 2 years, and I've done all of the chemical studies. Those links are in the community post on my community page. You just have to pass down through there. There's links to all of these chemical studies, and somebody put a message on mine today that the sativa, which is the garden lettuce that you get in the grocery store, is on rank with these wild ones. No, it is not. Even if it bolts, even if it shoots up and flowers and seeds, it is not on this same level. And yes, because it has been genetically manipulated, the guy said for 1,000,000 years. No, it's been 6,000 though. That's pretty impressive that the wild lettuce plant has been being domesticated and changed for 6,000 years to make it palatable for humans to consume it without the bitter, because people recognize the benefits of the plant. Well, when you start crossbreeding and messing with the genetics, you mess with many things. And even if you let one of those sativa varieties bolt, you're never going to get the medicine value, the sap out of it, like the wild lettuces. Now, I'm not cutting any of these down, and as you've seen, this year I'm not even going in and doing a lot with the clovers and stuff like that. Now, yes, I come out and get what I want to eat out of my wild greens, but this year I'm letting it just go to see what does develop in here. My comfrey plant is buried in here somewhere. I believe it's right there, but I've got some wild sage in here as well, and I do not see it. I hope it comes back, but I'm seeing what probably came in as travelers off of all of these plants, because all of these plants came from somewhere else. They are seed heads that I have gathered at other places, or that have been mailed to me, and I want to see maybe what little hitchhikers came in. But the Arizona purple lettuce is not coming up well. I specifically sowed it in this area. I had a few really small ones coming up, and the stalks were so much thicker, and the stalks were prickly all the way to the base. I think this is it right here. This is it. It looks very much like the cereola, but look at those prickles. Now, that's not how a cereola grows. So this is right here, and it may be because my climate is damper than Arizona, it's milder than Arizona. That right now, maybe it's going to take through the heat of the summer for these to come up real thick and strong, and maybe they only ever do this. But I am so thankful for them. They are delicious. They've got a good flavor to them. I have been eating on them. There's just so many in here. It is my wild lettuce utopia. There is another prickly lettuce that looks kind of like the Verosa. You see the leaf shape on it, but then the prickles on the underside, the Verosa does not have them like this. That's why they call it the non-prickly bitter lettuce. But you see, all of these do. And some of these I got in Alabama. Some I got in Sand Mountain in Alabama. Some were mailed to me. So we're going to see what comes up. But as I'm standing in one place and I pan around, you see what I've got just around me of all varying sizes. Here's a non-bitter, non-prickly Verosa right here. There's another one right over here, right there. And I've got some ragweed coming up over there that I really want to let it go this year and enjoy some of that for some herbs. And then my ligustrum, which is the common privet, Ligustrum vulgare. It is a fascinating plant, and the blooms make a delicious tea, and it helps on so many things. So this is actually my first ever live video. We're going to see how if anything, I get better on my videos. I always get such smart little snarky remarks on my videos. Goodness gracious, I'm not a professional. I'm just a little old lady in Middle Tennessee showing some wild lettuce. Cut me some slack, doggone it. Over here, There's my pink wood sorrel, my pink oxalis. I've got that plentiful, and then of course all my clovers. But this wild cherry tree. Now cherry trees are poisonous. And little old ladies used to order them from seed catalogs thinking, oh, well, they're going to have pretty cherry blossoms and be lovely. No, they're not. They're a dogged nuisance. All those little old ladies, my God. But I wanted y'all to see all this. This one right here, I'm gonna be pulling quite a few leaves off of it before I tend to top them about when they get about 5 feet, and then that puts those branches out even better. But you can see, let me get down here where you can see that stalk really good. It is just a beautiful plant too. I like it because it kind of looks like it's got a silhouette like a Christmas tree. It does. Some are skinny though. But here's you. I know I haven't been videoing much with the COVID pandemic. I work in a hot spot. I've been making masks. I've made probably 200 in just a few weeks. I have not gotten sick, although I've had my usual seasonal allergies and some asthma. But I have seen some people get very seriously ill. Now, one thing I do want to mention to you is that you know, we have a lot of viruses that attack humans. And, you know, we don't always have cures for them. We don't always get vaccines for them. We don't always have medicines for them that work. And so my plan of action has been, I'm going to treat the symptoms and think of it like that, like any other disease that we don't have vaccines and stuff for. There's no vaccine for diabetes. Of course, that's one of those things that you can change somewhat with lifestyle choices. But for the upper respiratory, the pneumonia, usnea, wild lettuce, mullein, forsythia, goldenrod, things that work on loosening mucus and fighting bacterial infections, which is secondary, and healing tissue. So you want something high in sesquiterpenes. So I've got those plants set aside for that. Then we go into the thrombosis, the blood clotting. So what I'm going to do about that is willow tea. And also dandelion tea has it has the same blood thinning properties in it that willow does. Okay, so that for thrombosis. And then you go into the things of the tissue damage. So you're going to want something high in the polyphenols, which are bitter things, and fruits and vegetables that are dark purple and dark red and burgundy that are high in those polyphenols. So you want to do that. You want to do things that help aid tissue building. So, you know, look at it like that. Okay, maybe we can't, I hate seeing that y'all are having pests prey on you. I'm lucky in my little city yard that I've got all these. And listen, y'all, that's why I brought them into my little city yard, was because when I'd find them out in the wild, well, sometimes I'd come back and they'd be bush hogged or they'd be sprayed. So what I've done is I've kept them close to the house, right outside my back door, so I can run out here. And there's more on the front of the house, y'all. So I can run out here and get them. Now, snails are awful no matter what. They just get all over everything. I have a problem with slugs and snails in my yard, but this particular corner of my yard, I don't. That was just a lucky happening that I chose it that way. I picked it because it was sunny. So maybe there's something there. But you know, keep these things growing however you have to, and harvest those seed, because what I did was, like over here where this real big gigantic tall one is, I just topped the plant that was there last year, and I laid the top over, just over on the ground, and now I've got 2 or 3 more, it looks like, coming up from that one. Oh no, it's a murder hornet. I just knew the murder hornets were going to get us. He's hiding now. He better hide. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything, y'all. So, so anyway, back on point. I have missed talking to y'all, but I work in this place where I've seen how the effects are, the bilateral pneumonia. One of my friends that's a little younger than me, last year he had heart function of 100%, and um, and after he got the COVID, he got the bilateral pneumonia. The disease attacked his heart. His heart function went down to 35%, and he's getting a pacemaker put in. He had a defibrillator put in last Thursday. So this has been devastating. So we're going to have to do things like that. Now, the question about my white clover, what do I do with it? I eat it. I eat it. I just come out here and eat it, and I pick it and I dry it. I love the clover blossoms dried. I dry them and then I put them in teas. And I love the greens. They've got a good flavor. I do dry those, but whenever I'm mixing stuff up, I have little jars of dried clover that I just put that over in there. Now, clover has a lot of high nutrient content, for one thing, but then it's got a lot of medicinal value. It's one of those things that oxygenates the blood and helps it flow better. So that's one of those things that I mean, seriously, I would just sleep in a bed of clover, maybe with some honeysuckle next to me, if I could, every day. So that's what I do with my clover. Now, right here, and my daughter, I got it from her yard, this sow thistle right here. She hates them. Everything in her yard is stuff that just sows, self-sows, and it's everywhere. And she hates that. She likes her herbs and her medicinals in nice little areas where she can control them and know what's growing where and everything. Well, I like mine a big old jumbled mess, just like they're growing out in the wild. Well, this right here is a sow thistle. Now, let me show you how you can tell the difference. The sow thistle does this funny little thing, how it curls around the stem like that. That's how I've been able to tell it. Plus, its bloom tops are always larger than, once these bloom and open, they'll be much larger than the wild lettuce, which is always a small bloom. And then the blooms are shaped like turbans, like, turban hats. And so, but it's a medicinal. Sow thistle has plenty of medicinal qualities to it too, and it's an astringent, and we need to have that in our diet for many different things. Just a side note on what I eat. Well, all my violets in here, I eat that. Um, I love violets. I love the blooms. They taste kind of like pepper. I love them on my salads. And then the leaves taste good. Uh, I like henbit, but sometimes it's got kind of a funny kind of aftertaste. Not a big fan, but I will eat it. I've got some yellow oxalis in here that I eat. That's the one that's my little neighbor boy. He can identify now, and he brings me little bouquets of it. I've got wild strawberries buried down in here too. I'll come out and I'll eat a bunch of those. Even the mock wild strawberries are delicious, tasty, and have herbal healing properties to it. So the temperature's starting to get warm here in southern Middle Tennessee, and I'm ready for it. I'm tired of cold weather. I hate the humidity though, but Oh, I see some sawbriar over there too. Now y'all can eat sawbriar. Now I pinch the little tips off of sawbriar as it's growing, and they're not coarse and they don't have thorns on them, but they're a delicious little treat as well. Um, but henbit and dead nettle, those are two that I know they have a lot of good healing properties. I just don't really care for the taste. But I do every year. I harvest them and I dry them, and I have a little jar that's got those on it as well. But one of the things that I do, and since we are live and we are just talking, I concentrate on just what is in my area. I try to just live and heal myself off of what is here for my use, what has been put here for my use, what grows naturally and what thrives and what grows well here. Because I believe that those things are indicators. If a plant grows well where you are, well, that shows that it's thriving. So it's got characteristics that help it thrive like that. So that is why I believe in healing yourself with what you have locally. And I'm not big about ordering stuff that would be considered foreign if it does grow in Tennessee or Alabama, and I don't have it just in my yard. I will go down the road or to somebody's house, and I will do some stealth reconnaissance and snatch some sometimes without people giving me permission. I am known to do that. However, most people think I'm harmless or crazy, and they just leave me alone to do it. Um, of course, my brother has the large part of the farm, so he forages a lot of stuff that I can't handle foraging, like the teasel and the burdock. So I get a lot of stuff from him. My sister has the mimosa, the forsythia, and more hedge bushes, the ligustrum than you can even imagine. So I rely on them as well, their farms, to supplement mine, my growing. But I did just want to catch y'all up real quick. Now that my mask making is at an end, I just told people, look, I can't sew another mask. Lord Jesus, I've come up with many different patterns, and I made cute ones and pretty ones and funny ones, and I'm just all messed out. And now we're getting enough people in our communities all over America that are doing this so that people can be healthy, um, and protect themselves and protect others. That I'm just not going to contribute. I made sure all my neighbors around here, I made masks for everybody. Because I live in a neighborhood with some elderly people and people who have compromised systems. And so I made masks for all my neighbors, and I started it at work, and then it just took off and other people started. So now I'm going to get back on track with my herbs. And as far as, I'm not going to do a lot of foraging out. I'm going to concentrate on just these plants. We're still documenting and learning about the Lactuca species of plant. It is fascinating. It is just fascinating. If you're a new viewer, I suggest that if you have a love of this plant or want to know more, to go to my community post and scan down, because that's where those medical and chemical analysis are, and those links are in there, so you can click on them and you can read about them. This plant is just phenomenal. I could live off of this plant by itself, and really I pretty much do. So until my next video, God bless you all. It may come tomorrow because I am off this weekend for the first time in a while. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise God. Y'all just don't know how tired I am and burnt out. So I'm going to come out in my yard, and I'm going to listen to birds and look at ladybugs, and I'm going to eat wild things. And I hope y'all do too, because the wild things will heal us. God bless you all. And now I gotta figure out how to end my video. Y'all be patient with me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Y'all know that. So what I do is, Glenda, I'm so glad to hear from you too. Girl, I've got so much kudzu. Okay, now I'm gonna go bye bye. Bye bye. Love all of y'all. Thank you.